Welcome to the Recess Life Podcast. This is the place where we explore play and what it means to get back to your inner child. I'm Louise, your host. Join me as I chat with teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, and thought leaders about how we can live a life of more play and impact. Let's get it started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode in this special series inspired by the coronavirus epidemic, play and creativity in uncertain times. It is the week of May 4th, so it has been a minute that we have been in quarantine here in San Francisco, and I have to be honest, this is not easy. I feel very grateful that I can be safe at home, but every day I put a lot of pressure on myself to have purpose and intention in that day. And when I am the one that has to create that all the time, every day, it's challenging. I just wish someone would swoop in and tell me what to do. That would make it a lot easier. And I think that's why when we have a job or something externally that is in charge of our time, a lot of times it's easier because we're accountable to that. But when you are only accountable to yourselves, it takes a lot of willpower each day. So I am doing my best, but I definitely am struggling from time to time. And in particular, I am trying to take this space to think about what I want for the big picture of my life and what I want to create and what's next. These podcast episodes are definitely a very creative outlet for me, but I go up and down with the feeling around it every day. It honestly is a challenge to put these episodes out. I know at the end of the day, I desire to create content and share a message around play and creativity, but there are days where I don't know if what I'm doing is making a difference. And even if one person hears this, I know that matters, but you don't get that feedback a lot of the times when you're a podcaster, when you're just on this side of the mic and you don't have real-time feedback or interaction with an audience. So I'm definitely craving that, something external to validate that I'm on the right track here. So I am doing my best to just keep trucking. I am doing my best to experiment with this time that I have around different kinds of content and creative outlets around this topic, and to connect with others who are also in this space. There's a lot of people in the play and creativity space, and it's a great time to connect with them and to see if there's synergy in what we're doing. So that's what I'm trying to do with my time. But it is a challenge. Okay, enough about me. If you are listening to this and you are enjoying it, please feel free to reach out and let me know if you have any feedback or if there's something you enjoyed about a point that was made or something that my guests shared, because I feel like even that would be just a little fuel to get me through. Not that I need external validation, but I do a little bit because I'm human. And if you feel inclined, you can also drop a review on iTunes. This helps me to know that people are listening, and it helps to get the word out about the podcast. I am actually really excited to share this episode. It is with a dear friend and former guest, Krista Stryker. She is the creator and author of 12-Minute Athlete. 12-Minute Athlete is an app, it is a website, and now a book, all created by Krista. If you need motivation around getting fit and staying motivated in that area, please check out Krista's work. You will definitely be motivated, whether it's by watching her Instagram posts, reading her blog posts, checking out her book. And what's really cool is that she makes fitness seem very accessible, meaning you can get fit with just the space you have at home and with little to no equipment and in 12 minutes. So there's really no excuses for getting fit when it can be so easy. And Krista will show you all about that. And I wanted to have this conversation with Krista because she is one of the most ambitious people I know. Late last year, she was in her first amateur boxing match. She has a lot of fitness and physical goals that she's working on, a lot of which she does with trainers and in training spaces. And also, her book just launched, which is also called 12-Minute Athlete. And so I was just so curious as to how she was getting through this time. Everything in her plan has changed, and how she's dealing with that, and how someone like her who is so ambitious is using this time. So we talked about the importance of goals and why goals are important, because goals give us hope. Goals give us hope that there is a future me for me to work towards, and a future to see, and a future to see through. And we talked about also why there are just some days where it is just darn hard to get anything done, and how sometimes even amazing, motivated, strong people like Krista get emotional. And I shared a little bit of that as well for myself, because I definitely have had my emotions during this time. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Krista, the first repeat guest of the Recess Life. I hope you can look at her as a source of inspiration during this tough time. I am not sure what episodes are going to happen after this. I had planned on doing 6 weeks worth of episodes for the series, and maybe I'll continue, or maybe I'll just take a break until the next crop of episodes come out, which were recorded before the pandemic. I'm not sure, so stay posted. You're welcome to follow me on Instagram, either at LouisePWO or at The Recess Life for updates. I will be dropping the links to Krista's website for the 12-Minute Athlete, her Instagram, her new book on the show notes. So you can find that at therecesslife.com. Maybe I'll see you before this pandemic is over, but if not, I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy this episode with Krista Stryker. All right, so we're live everywhere. Hello, everyone that's joining us on Instagram, who's joining us on Facebook Live right now. Hello, hello. I am talking with my friend Krista Stryker today. For those of you that know me, I have a podcast called The Recess Life. It is a podcast all about the importance of play and creativity in all stages of our life, not just when we are kids. And it is one of my greatest joys to produce and host. But when coronavirus started a few weeks ago, I really took a pause and just really needed to reassess how to talk about this topic, because it's a hard topic to talk about when so much is going on in the world, but it's so important to me. And I realized I just needed to step back and talk to my friends, other people I consider creative and playful, and chat with them about how they're dealing with this time. So I asked some of my friends to join me on some live conversations, and today I have Krista Stryker, who's actually been on the podcast before. Krista, you and I go back a few years now, having met. At least, I know, maybe 5-6 years at this point. I know, crazy. You're one of my favorite people in the world. We even traveled together last year when we could travel.
No.
Oh, that was so wonderful.
Those days, good old days.
The good old days. If anyone has any questions during this conversation, you're welcome to ask us on either Instagram or Facebook. But how are you doing today, my dear?
I'm doing all right, taking it day by day.
Yeah, hour by hour, really, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have such a full life. You are one of the most self-motivated, productive people I know. Anyone who knows you will probably say the same thing. So you had
that way.
True. You have come a long way. But before this all started, we even saw each other just about a month ago before things really got bad.
When it was starting,
Yep.
That was one of the last dinners out I've had,
Yep,
Crazy.
Same here. It was the last trip I took outside of San Francisco. It was in LA where you live.
Yep.
And yeah, we were talking about all the plans that you had for this year and everything you had going on. But can you share with all of us what you were working on, what projects you were doing, what your life was like when coronavirus started?
Yeah, I was really excited about a lot of things. I just had a book come out, so that was something that I was looking forward to. Was planning on doing some more in-person book tour style events, but obviously that hasn't happened. I've been working on a second book already, doing a lot with my own training, boxing, hoping to get a lot more. I'm an amateur boxer, so I'm hoping to get a lot more fights this year if this ever gets back to normal.
Yeah.
Just doing a lot of things that I was super excited about. So
Hmm.
coronavirus definitely like changed some things.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, your brand is the 12-minute athlete, which is all about mindset and fitness as a way to grow and change your mindset. And I love the workouts. It's you're such an inspiration to me, and you helped so many people. And your book that it just came out last week, right? Your
Yeah,
the published version.
published version last Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. And what were your plans for the book in terms of promotion and everything that you were going to do for it before
Do a
coronavirus?
lot more in-person stuff. I had self-published the first version, so this version it's updated, revised with Tiller Press and Simon and Schuster. So I was really excited about it, and we were gonna like have a book launch party and do all these things. But it's okay, it's still the book. Luckily, is still relevant. It talks a lot about, like you said, mindset, but also body weight training, home workouts, which are very relevant right now. So, been doing a lot of like podcasts and written interviews and stuff. So it's
Mhm.
still going. It's just not what I expected.
Right, not quite the same
No.
plan you had. Was there any struggle or resistance around those plans changing? Because you are someone that is so goal oriented, which is one of the most amazing things about you. And to have your goals and plans shifted like that and not on your own accord, not by your doing. What was that like to have to shift your plans from, all these in-person events and all these promotions and launches you were going to do? And yeah, what was that like mentally and personally for you?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I know a lot of us have struggled during this. Like for me, the first 2 weeks of it, I felt crushed. I felt like my future was kind of taken away from me, and that it felt like there wasn't a future. Like it just was so uncertain. I had this kind of clear path I was going on, and then all of a sudden, I just got blurred and I didn't know how to get past that. So that those first couple weeks were rough, man.
Mm.
um,
Did you let
and
yourself feel it, or was there any fighting it?
so I kind of went through like the 5 stages of grief with it, where it was like denial and then like super depression. I've mostly come to acceptance now, even though it's like there are still days or hours when I fall apart a little bit. The first week or two, I was like mostly only managing through exercise,
Mhm.
which meant I was doing like 3 or 4 workouts a day, which you can only do that for so long until your body starts to like
Oh my
hurt.
goodness.
But it was like the only way I could kind of get that energy out was like, okay, I'm gonna work out again,
Yeah.
um, which was too much. So, so from there, I had to learn some other tactics, which included, I don't know if you've heard of box breathing,
Mm-mm.
where it's like a style of breathing that just really helps calm down your nervous system. And so you can start by, you just take an inhale of a 4 count and then exhale 4 count. There's this really cool app that my friend told me about called the breathing app.
Oh.
And you can just watch this little circle like expand and get smaller. And like for me, that just is nice to look at, because it's like I've done meditation where I like watch my breath, but I get distracted and it's hard. So it's nice to have something like just visual to look at. So my friend told me about that. That helped a lot. So when I was, when I don't know if you've experienced this at all, yet, Louise, because you're such an optimistic person, but like I would get these like waves of just sadness and like,
Yeah.
so during those waves, that breathing stuff really helps, because it just helps calm down your nervous system.
Yeah. There were definitely a couple mornings I can remember where I just literally sat on the floor and just cried. Just
Yeah.
because like,
oh my gosh.
and there was just nothing else that I could do to stop it, but it was so important to sit with that feeling and to let it be. Because I tend to be an optimistic person. And it's done me really well in life for the most part, that sometimes there's a discomfort with challenging feelings because I am so used to just always looking on the bright side of things. But in order to fully move through emotions, you do have to sit with them and breathe through them. So I thank you for sharing that.
True. Yeah, I mean, I just think about, it's like my life has been affected, yes, but I think about there's so many people that their life has just been absolutely turned upside down.
Yes.
So many of my friends have lost their jobs. It's just crazy. So I also do a gratitude practice every day. I also do something that positive psychology recommends, where at the end of each day, you write down in a journal 3 things that went well that day. And it can be the tiniest things. Like you could say, like, I had some delicious blueberries in my oatmeal. Like it might not be big when there are times like this, but it helps to look back in the day and be like, okay, well, not every single thing was bad.
Right.
That's definitely helped me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, taking that moment to be grateful
Yeah.
and to take a look at the big picture of your life, right? Oh, yeah. How have you pivoted or changed your plans in terms of what you were working on for the year? Because you mentioned you're an amateur boxer. So how has everything changed your plans for training and all of the goals you had around fitness, and also any of the actual projects you were working on?
I think one thing this has done for me is really helped me get even clearer on what's important in my business, in my personal life, in my training. And so it's really made me like kind of want to just give up everything that I don't really care about. Which is interesting. Like looking at my business, I just want to simplify it a lot and do a lot more of the things that I really care about. And it's like, that could happen at any time. It's just getting that perspective and realizing that things can really change at any time. And you might as well be working on things and working toward things that you really care about. So for business, that's happened. For training, oh no.
You're good.
For training, it's definitely been challenging because I can
Yeah.
no longer train with my trainer. My boxing coach is super old school, and I'm like having to tell him how to train me online. I'm like, we set up a camera. It's not that hard, but it's like people aren't used to it.
Yep.
And I did end up I got a heavy bag for my house, but I don't have it set up yet. So I'm like just shadow boxing and like hoping I don't lose everything. But like movement in general has been so important during this time. It's really the thing that's helped me stay grounded and like okay.
Yeah, keep you grounded through it
Yeah.
all. Yeah, I love that you just said that this has really made you realize what's important and what more of the things you want to work on. And that's been interesting across some of the conversations I've had, is that if anything, it's been affirming of a lot of people's priorities.
Totally.
I think it's made a lot of us clear on what's important and what's not. What are the things that I'm actually not missing that much because of this?
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm actually not missing that. Maybe it wasn't actually important to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been
Yeah,
really
it's
awesome.
really interesting to get perspective like this, forced perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What are some of those things that you have realized are important, if you don't mind sharing, or what have you realized is more important than you was before?
Writing for me is really important, and having a business, online business, like there's so much that goes into it, and there's so many different things, and you feel like you should be on social media all the time and doing all these challenges and all these different things, but like my attention was just kind of all over the place, and I really have just in the last few weeks realized that like I just want to write. I want to focus just on like a few things. I have an app, so I want to make that like amazing and just like really like focus on these things that are the most important to me. Um, yeah, so I'm working on my second book, like I said, and that's been really fun. And I'm learning a lot, taking
Yeah.
courses. So
Good.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's like simplifying, which in a way is really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We were living in a world before, and we'll probably go back to this to some degree again, where we just have access to everything at any moment's notice. We can
Mm,
flip on social media. There's a million, we both live in very busy cities where there's a lot going on outside all the time, every day, every second
yep.
of the day, and there's constant stimuli
Yeah.
everywhere. And to be in a place now where we can be still and take this moment to step back and say, whoa, what was I sort of spinning around a million miles an hour? What was I actually doing? Was it getting me where I want to go? And if not, this is an opportunity to assess that. It's
Yeah, for sure. Totally agreed.
kind of a kind of a gift
Yeah,
in some ways.
yeah, I know. It's like it is. It's also just weird.
It is. It is weird. That is the yeah, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel
No.
real. No. Have you chatted with anyone, or is there anyone that you've seen that's been struggling on their own in this time? And how have you shared, or if you had anything to share with them around how to get through this time and maybe come out stronger if that's their goal, or more resilient at the end of this, what are the things that you would share with them?
Yeah, I have a few things that have helped me and then I've talked through with other people. One is totally limit news intake. Like at this time, when this first started, I was like glued to, CNN and New York Times. And I couldn't sleep. I was waking up anxious, like all
Mm.
these things. And I just realized that was not helping me in any way. So I'm like, 5 to 10 minutes of news a day is as much as I can handle. And then I have to read other things. So that's one thing I would say, like for me has been really, really helpful, is having books and podcasts and other things that are not necessarily related to COVID-19. Um, and things to like learn. Learning is fun. And then learning also forces you into like future mode, because if there's no future, what's the point of learning? So if you're learning, you're kind of like tricking your brain into realizing, okay, there's a future. It's worth like getting up every day. It's worth doing these things and actually having goals and planning. So I
Mm.
think that is really, really helpful. Other than that, like fresh air, I know people are supposed to be stuck inside their homes mostly, but like you got to get out for walks if you can.
Mhm.
I'm not a runner. Like I've always hated running, but I've even like started running a little bit just to get outside, take my
Mhm.
dog for a walk. Having a dog is really helpful right now because it's
Yeah.
an excuse to get
Oh, I wish
outside.
I had a dog.
I know, it's
Ah.
really nice. So getting
Mhm.
outside and then just movement. Movement is like key. And that is one thing that I've found is really, really interesting. Talking to my friends who are not into exercise at all are now all of a sudden realizing how important movement is for their mental health.
Wow,
That's
really? People
really
that didn't
cool.
prioritize exercise before at all are realizing it
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Because now they're just stuck in their apartment and they're not moving at all unless they're like actually getting up and doing something. So yeah, I think that's been really cool. And there's been a lot more talk about movement and exercise as something that you just need as a human being and for mental health versus like appearance. Like I haven't heard one person talk about beach season looking better in a bikini. It's all like
Thank
you gotta
God.
move. I know. So yeah, so that has been one really cool thing that I've seen from this.
Yeah. Yeah, to your point about learning and knowing that you have a future, I think in other words, it gives you hope because
Yes.
if you are learning and expanding your mind for possibilities, then you are able to have hope around what the future is. And we all
Yes.
need that right now. So,
Totally agreed. Yeah, that's so important.
so
That yeah,
do what it is that will give you hope in this time, whether
right.
that's learning, setting goals, setting, doing whatever that looks like.
So important.
So important. Yeah, and I do love that there is, because we are all in this together. Yeah, there isn't any talk of things that we're really focused now on what's important, which is mental
Yeah.
health. And there, yeah, you're right, there isn't talk about like bikini and beach season. Like
I haven't seen any of it. It's like amazing.
it's amazing, and it's great because this has all forced us to think about what's important in our lives. And I love that that's not important in our culture right now.
No.
If anything,
Who cares?
everyone is just at home being themselves.
Yes.
And we see, even celebrities at home without makeup on, and we're all just being real. And this is what
Yeah.
this is doing. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, isn't that's like a really positive thing that's happening from this.
Oh my God, it's yes. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Uh, is there anything else that you're doing around how to stay creative and playful in this time? Because you are such a productive go-getter, and it's pretty amazing how you stay that way.
Oh, thank you.
I know you have your moments just like all of us, but yeah, if there's anything else to share around that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely figuring it out still, as most of us are, because where I get a lot of my inspiration from is travel and like
Mhm.
novelty. And so without that, it's like that creative part of me got cut off a little bit, and I'm having to relearn what to do to like feel creative. I'm also like not used to working at home. I work from home, but I actually work at coffee shops, as you know.
Yep.
So I'm used to like bouncing around and like having my
Yeah.
day out
Yeah,
and
you don't even stay at a coffee shop for very long. You'll go from like one coffee shop to
super
another.
antsy. Like,
Too antsy to even stay at one coffee shop.
so this has forced me to be in one place longer, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm really figuring that one out. So my approach so far has been to like continue to work toward my goals. So I have like a few learning goals. Taking a super cool psychology course that I'm really enjoying,
Yep.
and still like technically working on my boxing and my handstands and my workout goals, even though it's like a little different now so that I don't have all the in-person stuff.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's some of that like creativity and play stuff missing, and I need to address that. One idea I had is I got a iPad, and my niece is a super amazing artist. She's 16 and like taught herself all the art. It's so cool. She's
Wow.
incredible.
Hmm.
But there's some really, really cool iPad programs or just tablet programs where you can learn to draw. And like, I used to love to draw as a kid, but like first grade, I kind of, stopped learning anything new because I don't know, it wasn't like a thing that was like, oh, you should learn more. It was like, I thought, well, I thought my abilities were fixed. So like fixed versus growth mindset, I thought this was the level that I would be at as an artist for the rest of my life.
In first grade.
First grade. I can still draw like the little cat and the frog that I drew in first grade. So I was thinking about using this as an opportunity to like actually expand on those artistic abilities.
Oh
I
my
also
goodness.
ordered some adult coloring books because I love coloring. So that,
Amazing.
um,
If you go into drawing, can you send me something that you draw by the end of this? I
sure,
want to
it's
see.
definitely gonna be animals because
That's
I
great.
have that first grade love of animals.
Yeah. Oh, can you draw Rocket? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll draw a rocket.
Yes, draw Rocket your dog. Oh my gosh. I would love that.
So yeah, that's one approach. We also, um, Brian, my husband, and I have a Nintendo Wii that we hadn't like broken out in forever, 5 years, and we
Uh-huh.
have like the Wii sports games. It's like the
Yeah.
tennis and the bowling, and that's fun. It's like definitely play, and it's way better than just watching some boring show all night.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, do you mind if we can talk about that for just a second because
Yeah.
yes, you and your husband Brian being quarantined together. I mean, you guys have been together a long time. How is that balance
Oh,
of being
that's
together?
interesting. It has been interesting.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out, but
Mhm.
I'm used to being by myself like all the time.
Yeah.
And he usually works at a WeWork. He has a office that he goes to, like, but basically, 9 to 6 every day. And so all of a sudden, it's like we're in each other's space all the time, and that's been interesting. It's helped. We were in like a very tiny apartment when we ended up moving, as you know, and so now I have like my own space, which is
Good.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Good.
really helpful.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
a challenge, man. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even though we've been together for so long, but not
yeah,
in the capacity to like this for
never
the
like
time.
this.
Yeah.
Like the closest would be traveling. We
Mhm.
travel together quite a bit. And so during trips, we're together more than we normally are. But there's even, there's times during that where it's like, okay, you know what? I've had too much of you. I need to go do my own thing the entire morning. And
Right.
then we're fine. Um,
And there's constant stimuli that is different and
yeah.
new, so it's not routine, right? But being in your
Yeah.
house together,
We're like cooking every night now, and it's like, it's different.
love it. Oh, that's so interesting. But it's great that you, like you said, you just are started playing the Wii together. So
Yeah.
maybe that will be you guys will learn new ways of connecting in ways you hadn't before.
Yeah, I was saying to him, I'm like, we need to find some kind of activities to do. Like maybe it's like, yeah, playing more games, or I don't know of a lot of two-player games that are that great, but you know, we'll
I think
see.
you can find some.
We'll find
Yeah.
some,
That's
draw
awesome.
together. He's an actual artist, so he can critique my.
Oh, there we go. He could give you lessons maybe, or would that be too much?
Yeah, we'll see.
You're like, I don't know about that. Oh, oh man. Well, thanks so much for hopping on with me.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, I'm so excited about your book that just came out. And yes, it is so relevant, even with everything that's happening, it's especially relevant because
it's
everyone's
like
at
weird
home.
How relevant it is.
It is, yeah. I mean, none of us can go to gyms right now, so use what you have at home, which is, that's all you need. That's all you need.
Super effective.
Yep, you don't need equipment, so you don't need a lot of space either. So yeah, your book is amazing for that, and as is your app. And yeah, I'm excited to see how you kick ass at your goals, even with all of this happening.
Thank you. So good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you, my dear.
Can't wait to travel with you when this is all over.
I know. Cannot. We have that to look forward to. That will give us hope. Yes. Oh my gosh, and good luck with the rest of the move-in.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Are you looking for more play in your life? Make sure you're subscribed to the Recess Life podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the podcast platforms. You can also find the video interviews on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a review. Your feedback is so important to me, and it helps others to find the podcast. You can also follow the conversation on Instagram at The Recess Life. And lastly, you can go to therecesslife.com where you'll find all the episodes and show notes on each of our guests. I hope this podcast helps you to become a little more playful today than you were yesterday. Until next time, don't forget to get out.